Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer, and today we're going to finish up as we discuss the Unlimited expansion. So, for the last couple episodes, we've been discussing Unlimited, and looks like you guys aren't too excited, haven't been too excited about it, but I understand because a lot of the cards from this expansion are quite expensive, and many of them have been reprinted several times. So we'll wrap it up with this brief episode, and then we're going to move on to an actual expansion. And that expansion is going to be one of the first expansions I ever played, and that being Ice Age. So without further ado, let's get into the cards.
Alright, today we only have green, so our first card is Channel. This sorcery casts for 2 green. Until end of turn, anytime you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add 1 colorless. Okay, if you'd like to add this card to your collection, it's not too expensive. It will cost you $7.26, and it's been reprinted several times. And next up we have the Cockatrice. This was one of the original Death Touch creatures. It casts for 3 colorless and 2 green. It's a 2/4 flyer. When Cockatrice blocks or becomes blocked by a non-wall creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. And of course, the combo to use with this one is Lure. Wipe out all your opponent's untapped creatures. Yes. Now, this version's a little on the expensive side as it's currently worth $62, but it has been reprinted several times. And next up we have Elvish Archers. As you know, elves do help each other out and pump each other, so this is definitely a card to add to your elf deck. And he is a 2/1 creature. He casts for 1 colorless and 1 green, and he has First Strike. However, you may not want to get this particular edition of the card, as this one is worth $113, but it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up we have one of the greatest cards in green, and a card that should be in every single green deck, and that is Fog. This instant casts for 1 green, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. It's been reprinted several times. This particular version is worth about $2.37, and why it hasn't been reprinted recently and is not on Arena, I don't know. And next up we have another card that is still in existence, and that is Giant Growth. This instant casts for 1 green. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. This version won't set you back too much as it's currently worth $2.55, and it's been reprinted several times and is still here today. And next up we have Giant Spider, and like other spiders in Magic, it has one thing in common. It has reach, which means this creature can block creatures with flying. This 2/4 creature casts for 3 colorless and 1 green, and this is a pretty good addition to any green deck, and it will only cost you 93 cents, and has been reprinted quite a few times. Speaking of practical cards, here is a pretty practical one, and that is Grizzly Bears. This is a 2 for 2. It casts for 1 colorless and 1 green. It's a 2/2 creature. And if you'd like to add this card to your green deck, it won't cost you too much. It's currently worth 74 cents, and it has been reprinted several times. And next up we have a card that used to get played quite a bit back in the day, but not so much anymore, and that is Living Lands. This enchantment casts for 3 colorless and 1 green. All forests are 1/1 creatures that are still lands. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it'll set you back just a little bit as it's currently worth around $23, but it's been reprinted several times. And next up we have one of my best friend's favorite cards, and actually his favorite artwork by the great Anson Maddox, and that is Llanowar Elves. Just alone I would recommend it because of the fact that it's a 1/1 that casts for 1 green, but its special ability is you tap it and it gives you green mana. And this card has been reprinted several times. It's still in print. I have a couple on my Arena decks. This particular version will cost you $13.90. Next up is a card that I talk about quite a bit for good reason, and that is Lure. This enchantment casts for 1 colorless and 2 green. Enchant creature. All creatures able to block enchanted creature do so. So what's so great about this? Put it on a creature that has Death Touch, attack, and all of your opponent's creatures die. Yep, great card. If you'd like to add this card to your green deck or any deck that has Death Touch creatures, it won't cost you too much. This current edition is worth $5.23, and it's been reprinted several times. And next up, we have a card that really screams green, and that is Regrowth. This sorcery casts for 1 colorless and 1 green. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Yep, very useful. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it'll cost you just a little bit, as it's currently worth around $18, and it's been reprinted a couple times. And keeping up with the tradition of this channel, we have Scrib Sprites. These are 1/1 creatures that cast for 1 green that is, and best of all, they're flying. If you'd like to add these little sprites to your green deck, it won't cost you too much. They're currently worth $1.56, and they've been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have the Shanodin, Dryads. Once again, a 1/1 creature that casts for 1 green, and this creature has Forest Walk, which means this creature can't be blocked as long as defending player controls a forest. So if you're playing against somebody that has green, well, they're going to take 1 damage every turn. And this card is not very expensive, so if you want to add it to your green deck, it will cost you 61 cents, and it's been reprinted a few times. And next up, we have another Death Touch creature that goes perfectly with Lure, and that is the Thicket Basilisk. This 2/4 creature casts for 3 colorless and 2 green. Whenever Thicket Basilisk blocks or becomes blocked by a non-wall creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. If you'd like to add this cute little creature to your deck, it will only cost you $7, and it's been reprinted several times. As there are lots of wolf cards that do help each other out and pump each other, any wolf card is a good thing. And Timberwolves are no exception, as it is a 1/1 creature that casts for 1 green. It has banding, but I'm not going to even discuss that because banding was so confusing that they pretty much did away with it. This particular card's a little on the expensive side, as it will cost you $50, but it has been reprinted several times. Next up, we have Tranquility. This is another one of those kind of lost classics. You don't really see this card being used anymore. This sorcery casts for 2 colorless and 1 green. Destroy all enchantments. If you'd like to add this card to your green deck, it will cost you $1, and it has been reprinted a few times. And next we have one of our mini walls that you find, and that is the Wall of Brambles. This 2/3 wall, with Defender, of course, which means it can't attack, casts for 2 colorless and 1 green, but best of all, it regenerates by tapping 1 green. If you'd like to add this card to your deck, it won't cost you too much. It's currently worth $2.76, and it has been reprinted a few times. And our next card is Web. This is a card I didn't even know about until I started doing research, as I never owned one. This enchantment casts for 1 green. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2 and has reach. Nice. What's not nice is the price, is this card will cost you around $57, but it has been reprinted a few times. And our final green card, also our final card for today, and our final card as we wrap up Unlimited, and that is Wild Growth. This enchantment casts for 1 green. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 green. Nice. Oh yeah. As if you are building your green deck correctly, you should have the ability to get land out as quickly as possible. If you'd like to add this card to your green deck, and I do highly recommend it, it will cost you $3.56, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Well, that wraps up our unit on Unlimited. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope some of you, especially the younger players that are watching this, discovered some new cards that you might like to add to your decks. If you did enjoy this, please let me know by giving me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to leave some comments on some cards that you like to use that came out of this expansion or any expansion. I'd love to hear some of your stories. And so in our next episode, we're going to begin Ice Age, which was the first expansion I ever got into. So that kind of lets you know how long I've been playing. So, well, until next time, this has been Anthony Gamer. I hope to see you all in the next episode, and I will see you all in the arena. Bye for now.